Hi, in this video, you will gain years of pro-level construction knowledge that will help you master the foundation stages of custom home building by learning 4 things that can cause you to lose money during this phase of construction. Those 4 things are: number 1, delays; number 2, errors; number 3, varying site conditions; and number 4, theft. So let's talk about those 4 things. Number 1 is delays. You've got all kind of delays. You've got COVID delays or supply chain delays. You've got fill-in material delays, weather delays, labor delays, and even inspection delays. So we're going to talk more about how we can prevent that. Some of the errors is footing projections not being correct, your anchor bolt placements, and your foundation garage walls. A lot of areas to get off on that. The next thing you will want to look out for is varying site conditions, and then lastly, theft. So, in more detail, what does that look like? In your delays, you've got supply chain or COVID delays where, it can wreak havoc on your schedule, ultimately costing you money. The way you fix this and the way you get ahead of that is to order your materials and order your stuff way in advance to get ahead of supply chain issues. For your filling materials, what filling materials are is that when your crews are working and they're using the materials and they run short and they have to call you and tell you they need more materials, well, now with supply chain issues and just labor shortages and all that, your fill-in material orders take longer to get, which in turn causes your subcontractors, your labor pool to pull off the job, and it extends your timeline, which ultimately costs you more money. How you fix that is by ordering more material and get it delivered to the job site, keep track of it, and make sure that the material that you're ordering more of or creating a buffer that you can return the materials that's not needed and get a credit for it. I know for us, we can on our block, but on our brick, we're not able to. So we normally order about 3,000 to 4,000 more brick. We know that we're going to use those brick in our steps. Sometimes we do a pump house, and then sometimes we'll do brick columns out by the road. So we know we're going to use those bricks somewhere else, but we still order a little extra just so we don't run short. So that's how you solve that weather delays. The way you can get ahead of weather delays to an extent is to use your iPhone or Android devices, get a projection, a 7-day weather forecast, and try to start your foundation the week when the weather shows that it's the clearest. Now, of course, things can happen, but this is what we do to try to mitigate the weather delays during the foundation stage. The next topic is going to be labor delays. The way we mitigate this is that we have all of our subcontractors and vendors come to our office. We go over our expectations. We go over our agreement. We video record our meetings. And then we let them know that part of the way we work is when they start, we don't want them pulling off of our job. And we show them all the things we're doing to keep from them needing to be pulled off. And we don't want them just to pull off to go do another job. And we let them know that we don't allow that. We negotiate all that up front. And so that typically will head off a lot of that as long as you're doing your part to keep it to where they're not having to wait on you. But we talk about that up front. That typically helps out the labor delays. We ask about how many people is going to be on the job site, how long it's going to take them to get it done. We get all that information, put it in their contract, get it signed. They know it's been recorded. We had them repeat back what the expectations are, and that typically solves that problems for us. Next up is inspection delays. What can you do about inspection delays? Now everybody's short-staffed. It's affected inspection. Inspectors also face the same dilemma. What we do is we communicate with them way in advance also and give them a projection on when we're going to need them. Let them know we're going to call in advance. And then we make sure that we have a list of the most common reasons why, in this case, the foundation fails inspections. And we make sure we go through and cross off and check off each item that is the most common reason why foundations fail inspections. And we let the inspector know that we're doing that up front as well. We let them know we video document everything, and we let them know we're really making an intentional effort to be the best contractor they work with. And a lot of this is people skills too. You want to talk with inspectors and get a good relationship with them up front and build a good rapport. So when you call them, that personal relationship can kind of kick in either subconsciously and they're wanting to help you. And you do that. That has helped us keep from having such inspection delays. Always call them in at least 2 days in advance. And those are ways you can prevent some of the delays that you're going to face. Number 2 is the errors. Some of the errors you're going to face. One of the biggest things I've found is that the errors are sometimes your footing projections. The way we solve that is we automatically make all of our footings for our foundations 24 inches wide. And yes, I know that's more money. But you ain't got to fail an inspection one time because your footing being, bare minimum code width, and you guys have gotten off a little bit, and then you're not meeting your projection. So what your projection is that if your foundation wall is this thick, this is the outside of your foundation wall, this is the inside of your foundation wall. Well, your footer has to extend past this foundation wall here, a minimum. There's got to be a 4-inch minimum spread here. And then on the back side of your wall, on that side, you got to have a minimum of 4 inches also. So whatever your foundation wall width is, your footer has to be wider. So we kept it simple. We said all of our footers are now going to be 24 inches wide. That's the base of your foundation. And it's one of the most important things. So we spend more money there, and it magically solves all of our footing projections. Not telling you that's what to do, but if you're going to go with the middle, you're going to have to be almost perfect on that, or else you're going to have to come and dig beside your footings, down into the concrete, put dowels in it, and pour additional concrete. You do that one time, you'll learn that lesson the hard way, and I think you'll see where just making your footers 24 inches wide will solve that problem. Next up is anchor bolt placement. Anchor bolt placements, rule of thumb is you want to be 1 foot from the corner. So if you've got a corner of a home, you want to come 1 foot and then 1 foot. And then from there, you got every 4 foot with your anchor bolts. You also want to make sure that you check your plan to see what type of wall system you have. If it's a 2x6 exterior wall or a 2x4 exterior wall, your anchor bolt has to be in the center of the bottom plate of your wall. And if you're doing a brick veneer home, or if you're doing a siding home, you got to find out where your frame measurements are on your foundation and make sure your anchor bolt is coming up dead center of that. You got to figure all that out first and mark that and make sure your trade partners are tracking that. Because if you're off and your anchor bolt is too close to the edge of your bottom plate, you won't pass inspection. We'll have to end up redoing that. Anchor bolt. Oh, make sure you don't put your anchor bolts, of course, in the center of your doorways on your exterior walls. Bonus tip here, be sure to check your garage foundation walls. Also, this is another place where you have some errors, is where you've got your garage openings for your garage doors. A lot of times, most brick masons do this, but sometimes it's an issue where they don't leave a recess on the inside of your garage for your garage door track that comes and goes all the way down to your concrete. And sometimes they'll just run the double wall there and not cut out a section for that garage door track to go straight down. If they don't do that, you're going to have problems later on, have to get retripped and get these guys back out here to cut that. So you always want to check to make sure that that's done during the foundation stage. Make sure your rough openings, if you've got a 9 foot wide garage door opening, your rough opening needs to be 9'3", needs to be 3 inches wider, allowing for your framing to go in there. So that is some of the errors that we find that, you want to stay on top of during the foundation stage in varying site conditions. Sometimes you've got a sloping lot. Sometimes it's severe. Sometimes it's minimum. Even with the minimum, if you've got a 2 foot high foundation over here, even with a minimum slope, you may end up with a 4 foot high foundation over there. So if you got 2 foot here, 4 foot there, and you estimated for a 2 foot high foundation, now you're going to end up with a 3 foot high foundation. When you average that out, your material and labor costs just increase by a third. So you want to make sure how you get ahead of that is you get an existing site grade topo for your site plan or your plot plan, where it shows the grade elevation difference, and you can look at that and see how much the lot slopes. And then you can kind of get ahead of it then and get an idea of that. Sometimes your topo maps, they're not accurate. When you get on site, the land looks like it's not that bad, but then when you remove trees and all that stuff and grade it, come back, it kind of varies due to the site conditions. That's one of the things you want to look out for. The next thing is maybe you're having to order equipment that you didn't necessarily think you were going to have to order, like maybe concrete trucks can't get around the property like you thought it would, so you have to order concrete pump trucks. Those typically run you $1,000, $2,000 extra, and you could be in the negative if you didn't account for that, and due to varying site conditions. Lastly, here's material theft. The way we get ahead of that is that we put job site security cameras, 4G cameras that doesn't require Wi-Fi, connects to the 4G signals like your cell phones. We put them at different locations in the job site. We make our crews aware that we have job site surveillance at different locations. We don't let them know all where, and we let them know that we've had people get arrested. So don't be surprised if they come to the job site and don't let us know that they're there, that police will be called. We let them know we're very serious about material theft. We got a process they have to follow before they get to our job site. They got to check in with us. We've got a group, a messenger group that they send us a message letting us know when they're getting to the job site. That way we can disarm the cameras before they leave. They have to check out. So that way when everybody's off site, we arm the cameras. Now, if somebody comes in our job site, they have to check in. When everything's armed, we're automatically calling the police. That's how we've caught 2 or 3 different people trying to steal. We get videos of them stealing. We advertise it on social media locally, and we'll make the things famous. So we've got a reputation for not playing around with that. And knock on wood, we don't have theft issues no more. That's how we solved it. The last thing is basically theft too. We've only had this happen once or twice. You've probably never had this happen. Hopefully you haven't, but we have. So I'm putting it here. Is that we've had folks during the foundation stage. We keep a tight count on all of our materials. We know exactly how much is supposed to go in there. We order a little buffer. We know what we're supposed to have left over. Guy turned in his invoice, did his counts. We went in behind and checked, and it was off. And like, well, hey, where's the 2,000 or 3,000 brick? Where's the other panel of the block? Supposedly they got used. Went around and counted the block in the wall. Didn't match up. That thing stumped me. We got our delivery tickets. And part of our other process, we get drone footage, overhead shots of our sites before, during, and after each stage. And I was going back looking through my videos and drone photographs and seeing that there was a spot way off to the side there where we didn't clear the lot that was clear. Like, and I'm like, well, why is that there? We didn't clear that area. So I happened to go over and check that out and could tell it had a mound on it. It wasn't level, it was just mounded up. And I saw a brick kind of sticking out the side there, and then did a little investigation. They actually buried the cubes of brick and block. Stealing, pretty much. Fired the trade partner for doing that. And that's the reason why it made this list. So these are 4 things that you can do to help you save more money, help you to run a better process during the foundation stages of custom home building. And if you want to know more about any one of these stages, feel free to comment below. If you want to know more about preventing delays, preventing errors, how to get ahead of the burying site conditions, and want to know even more about theft, or got a separate question, comment below. If you found any one of these 4 items useful, be sure to comment below. Also, let me know. I'm Ralph at SoutheasternGeneralContractors.com. Be sure to like this video, share this video if you found value in it. Help us spread our name. We want to be the first GC that comes to mind when people are needing a quality GC that does a great job and prides themselves on delivering quality. I hope you found value in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.